Well, what we did with the wiki was to set up some coursework, some assessment work for a group of students, online psychology students. They gave a bit of a mixed reaction when we said that they were going to do this through a wiki. I think there were a number of different places where they found attention. One is generally group work. Students tend not to like it. So the fact that this was a group wiki, part of their, I think, their anxieties was probably just around group work itself and nothing to do with the wiki. But there were wiki-oriented anxieties that they had. A new technology that they were familiar with in terms of reading Wikipedia, but had no real idea about what it was and how you construct one and all of that. So they did have anxieties around that. The advantage of using the wiki was that it gave them a way of organising the task very easily. Because they're a group of students who are in diverse places, it gave them a very easy way of being able to distribute the tasks within the group. Now, you could have done that with other processes, but the wiki was a good choice in terms of them being able to partition their work up. And from our point of view as lecturers and supporting that learning process, it was possible to give individual guidance, because they all did decide to individually take one element and then do the integration bit together, and then provide them with guidance and help when they were trying to sort of piece it all together into some integrated way. So in terms of a process, it was quite successful in that regard. So the disadvantage, I think, possibly from a staff member's point of view, is that actually it's very time consuming. It's not a case of being able to just let them go and leave them to it and so on. Of course, when you do it again, when they do another one, of course you can then let them go. But in terms of, it's time consuming. It is time consuming, and that can be a disadvantage for members of staff. For students, other disadvantages are about really not, some of the things are about not really knowing how much material they need to do and put in, because they feel much more, they write an essay, they know it's a 2,500 word essay, but what's the equivalent when you've got video clips and audio tracks and other things and images that you're putting in? How much is 2,500 words worth of a wiki? I don't know. I don't know. They don't know. So they have a problem in monitoring. One of the disadvantages is that they don't really know how to monitor how much work they should be putting into it. We went into this not really knowing what to expect. And I think the lessons are about differently are, I think we got the support just about right, but I don't think we got it quite right at the beginning. So I think, having that knowledge of having done it before, I think then enables you to do it more smoothly. At least I hope so, because we're going to go into our second run and we'll see. But to do it more smoothly, I think when you're learning it almost as much as the students are, it's difficult to make a judgment about what you need to change and what you just need to do now with better hindsight. I think the advice that I'd give to someone wanting to do a wiki would be around just thinking about the pacing, the timing of the elements, because I think that's how much should people have done? If you've got 12-week module and you're expecting them to produce their wiki by sort of week 11, I think it's important to monitor. Are you starting it? Are you trying to get the students to start it too early? Are you trying to, where do you pitch it? Where should they be at week 6, at week 8, and so on in terms of that? The other advice that I would give to people is it works better as, it's potentially a disaster as individual pieces of work if people haven't played with this before. Because what happened in the groups, luckily, was that every group had someone who was a little bit more savvy, a little bit more competent. But if you had individuals and you get the individual who really doesn't know what they're doing, I think, that's a disaster waiting to happen. So I wouldn't do it as an individual piece of work unless I was confident that these people had used this tool before and knew what they were doing with it. Otherwise, I just think it'd be really hard work for both them and you as a lecturer.